There was a line that Coco Gauff said when she won the U.S. Open a couple of years ago that said something along the lines of, to everyone who thought you were putting water on my fire, you were really just adding fuel. And I really live by that. I think that it's motivating when people don't think you're going to be successful to take that and turn it around and use it to help you push through the hard times. My name is Jillian Hiscock. I use she, her pronouns. I live in St. Paul, and I am the owner and founder of A Bar of Their Own. I grew up as a three-sport athlete. I played tennis, gymnastics, and softball growing up, and I don't remember ever seeing women on TV as athletes except the Olympics. And I really didn't have any idea that so many women's sports existed because there was not exposure. I didn't know that they were happening. There's been so many women paving the way for us to get to the point where we are now, where Caitlin Clark is a household name, where the Lynx are getting the exposure they are from national media. But that wouldn't have happened without these women that were doing it without being seen for so long. Before I opened A Bar of Their Own, I spent 12 years working on college campuses and then spent 6 years working in Twin Cities-based nonprofits. I was pretty burned out from nonprofit work and wanted to take some time to reflect on what was next. I was able to work for the women's Final Four basketball tournament that was here in Minneapolis in 2022 and had just an incredible experience being in and around sports, working with athletes and coaches and, the teams that were coming into town for this tournament. And that was really my exposure to working in sports for the first time. Jenny Wynn opened the very first ever women's sports bar in Portland, Oregon called the Sports Bra. I was super inspired by what she was doing because I had never even heard or dreamed of a place like that existing. The idea of bringing something like that to my own community was really attractive to me because I knew we had the fan base here of women's sports fans. I was meeting with friends casually and saying, if we had a sports bar here, what would we call it? What teams would we work with? What beers would we serve? What would we want to be different about it? And those ideas and socializing it really kind of helped create the initial business plan for what became A Bar of Their Own. We really wanted folks to know that this wasn't just a place for women. This was a place for anybody that loves women's sports or is curious about women's sports. I think one of my superpowers, and I've said this for a long time, is that I'm very aware of what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I worked in the service industry when I was younger, but I've never owned a restaurant. And so what I really started by doing was making a list of all of the things I didn't know. And it was a long list, and it continues to be a long list. One of my strengths is building community. I was able to reach out to a lot of people that I knew would be able to check off those things on my list. Like, I have no idea where to start to create a food menu, but I bet this person can help me. That network and relying on people around us has been such an important part of how we've been able to operate. I think doing business unusual is really challenging the status quo and trying to figure out how you can make things different and better by doing things in a new way. I approach things with a more human-centric focus than I think a lot of other restaurant owners do. And really at the end of the day, that's what the service industry is it's people-focused work. My staff are the heart and blood of this place. They have done so much to make this place possible. They're the ones that are informing me hey, we should change this up. This thing feels a little bit off. Somebody said we should do this. I know that if I have really great people working for me that understand my goals and feel like they're bought into that process, they become their goals. We all need each other to succeed, and I think leaning on the community that you have around you is one of the things that makes you the most successful. Knowing that the 8-year-old Jillian that now walks into my restaurant is going to see women on TV. It's impossible to even imagine how much of an impact that's going to have on future generations and women's sports in general.